My name is Gary Brooks. This is my son
Joshua.
Right.
Nice to meet you all.
And we've been with you guys before, and that was for let's see, the Battle Wilderness and Rourke's Drift and Waterloo, because that's what everybody's like. Hey, you're the guy who built Big Waterloo. Yep. Okay. So anyway, what is this? This is obviously not a battle. This is a nice big castle collaboration that's taken a number of years to do, and we're still building it, and so it's getting bigger and bigger. This is, however, the very first time that we've ever put it all together. So now that we got it all together, we're like, wow, look at all the different styles and how jam-packed it is. With this particular layout, we wanted to have something along the river. When you ever have a river, you have some variety. You can, for like the audience can stand like you are right now and look at the city, as opposed to, well, where do you stand for a city that's not on a river? So this kind of makes a good viewing point, and also you can put in variety, like boats and ships and stuff. We didn't have enough room here this time, but sometimes here we have some pretty good sized ships when we've set it up. Again, we haven't set this up completely before, but yeah, you get the idea. So from there, you're going to have kind of like an inn. Well, you're probably going to have a marketplace, so it grew from here. And then I would love to say this was planned. However, it's really kind of piecemeal. So I think the next thing that came into play is, well, we got a street here that we could do. So then Joshua built North Gate. You want to, Joshua, go ahead?
So speak a little bit to that.
Well, this is the north gate of the city, Durrough, through which, during market day, merchants will enter down the high road and into the markets in order to set up their stalls to sell their wares. Probably at exorbitant prices.
Very cool, very cool. Now describe the building process that you sort of adopt to accomplish something like that.
I worked very much, kind of winged it, basically. I started with the blue inn, because I had a lot of the baby blue bricks still lying around, and I decided I wanted to build a small 2-story inn with an adjoining stable right next to the wall. Once I completed that, I decided that I wanted, more ambitiously, 2 buildings on the next side, and I was going to do a more advanced roof technique for both of them. You see here now a bakery and an apothecary for both.
Very cool, and that roof technique sort of mimics this one over here. It's just like layering tiles, right, to make it look like...
staggered tiles on top of staggered plates to give the effect of a planked roof.
Very cool, very cool. Now point out a few details that we can see from here that you're particularly proud of.
Well, definitely the cobble arrangement, as well as the wall. But one thing I'm particularly proud of is the wattle and daub style that you can see if I remove here, there, using only dark brown 1x2 and 1x4 tiles. Very hard to do since there's only 2 sizes of tiles, and often the wattle and daub is odd shapes.
Definitely, and that's like that's what I mean. You see that accomplished with lots of different techniques, but that one is very, very slick.
Tiles is.
And this is Black Swan. It was built for an online contest for Lands of Roya castle game. The bottom line is, when I was a much younger man and we were in England, I saw houses like this, and there was one particular inn that we went to eat at, and it was called the Spotted Cow and the Spotted Calf. And ever since seeing that, I was like, oh, I've got to do this in Lego. So eventually I got an opportunity to do it, and it's really my first really good, I'd say, architectural house ever built. So there are some kind of, easy things in here. But on the whole, though, it's been a pretty popular mock on Flickr and online and such, and I enjoyed building it, and it's still one of my largest builds. Pretty popular. So we move on from there, but it kind of established this whole thing, because I built it, and then suddenly the idea was, hey, why don't we just keep going and build these buildings? There's a technique here that I used for the first time, and that's this layered tile technique for the roof. It's simple, it's easy, it's doable, and I wish I'd stuck with it. But because you're going to see a monstrosity here in a minute, and I was like, oh my gosh. But it's a pretty good technique there. And then the next big piece is the town hall. Now, this beast here was never, ever supposed to be this big. I saw a picture online of some architecture, and I loved it, and I said, I'm going to build that. And it was really just kind of this right here. This kind of exterior, but yet covered staircase and a nice entryway. This is all I saw. So I was like, okay, great. I'll start building. And very quickly, I had not really grasped how big this doggone thing would be. And so it ran way over budget and way oversized very quickly, broke the bank. And the other thing that kind of killed me was the roof technique. Now, the roof technique, I'll tell you right now, I don't want to say I wish I hadn't done it because it did turn out beautiful, but boy, was it expensive. And so I came upon this idea of just using cheese wedges. Okay, so cheese wedge, the wonderful, beautiful thing that Lego has come up with for slopes. I just love it. So I said, I'll replace tile with this. Well, yeah, there's like 3,000 cheese wedges here, and when you end up doing that over and over and over again, and the other thing is, just because you manage to have a cup of this stuff doesn't mean you could actually build a house with it. So I wound up having to do all kinds of orders, and I'm personally responsible for the price of dark red cheese wedges skyrocketing on BrickLink.
Some guy's buying all of them.
And that's exactly what it is. Well, the funny thing is, though, I finally found a picture of the entire building that I modeled it off of. Remember, I just modeled it off of this area. Yeah, it doesn't have this at all. It just stops right there, and it's like, that's it. So I went, okay, good one. Now, I'd like to show you a practical joke here.
Okay.
We know a lot of castle guys in the community, especially Lands of Roy and also on Eurobricks. And, well, some of them are rather practical jokers. So here we have a meeting of very high-level leadership here that's taken place between one faction and another faction. And I come in here and I suddenly find that a third faction has decided to change the dynamic. And that is Spencer has managed to put his Lorisi assassin. And it took us a long while to find that, but there it is. And very cleverly placed in there. So, nice little practical joke. So anyway, it's come together. The last thing I think has been added is, unfortunately, you're going to have to go to the other side to see it, and that's Daniel's blacksmith shop. Now, this is my other son, Daniel, my younger one, and he really wanted to contribute and build. Yep. And so he built it, but we ran out of cobblestones. So in effect, then, we couldn't put any space for this display anyway in between. So we definitely need to build another street here. And then to fill it out, my wife went ahead and built, my wife Christy went ahead and built this nice little garden to go with it. So really, this is a family mock right here. All four of us in the family build, and all four of us have contributed to this.
That's awesome. And so what is it like to kind of build within the family? What's that dynamic like for you?
Well, the first thing is, so I am known as brick surplus. What do I mean by that? I wind up ordering the bricks from BrickLink, and I'll go to a compartment, and I know it was full. Suddenly it's empty. Hey, what happened? Basically, when they need something, they come take it. So that's one thing. However, the advantage is, you know, when an AFOL spends a lot of money on BrickLink, their spouse usually freaks out. In this case, my spouse goes, well, why didn't you buy more? So that's another advantage right there. There's one technique, by the way, I'd like to show you real quick, if you don't mind. Daniel, my son.
Right. Oh, that's pretty slick. I see what you're getting at.
So for the smoke technique, you know, it's really hard to do because Lego is so blocky. This, of course, we're purists. We like to go with 100% Lego. So this is a really nice purist technique where you're just taking the nets and black Lego rubber bands and then attaching them to the smoke. And what he's done is he's just taken a 4L bar and inserted in there, and that's what's keeping him in place.
Very slick. Well, Gary, Joshua, thank you so much for sharing with us. And wonderful family you guys have here, and wonderful build. Good stuff.
All right. Thank you very much, Matthew.
Awesome.